Well, almost for everything, rebuilding was a painful run in the short term but can be amazingly fruitful when it comes to the long term. However, not every rebuild can yield success, hence many teams rather make a constant retool or to avoid the rebuild altogether. But why? Why does every rebuild at Manchester United seem to start with hope but just end up in a massive disappointment? Oftentimes, there were rebuilding cycle in Man United goes like this. With the promise a new manager arrives, the progress, new expensive signing come in, as fans start believing we win a few games and the pressure came in, be opportunities on winning the title. And then 2 to 3 seasons later, it collapsed faster than the Pisa Tower, in which was never collapsed despite the famous for being slanting. Very irony way, the cycle starts all over and over again. But today we break down why Man United rebuilds keep failing despite putting heavy effort and why the problem might be deeper than just players or managers. In case you didn't know, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Marvin, codename CM. Welcome to the Code United channel once again. If you, in any shape or form, stumble into this channel and somehow some way like this kind of content, do please like, share and subscribe to this channel, as each of your precious subscription will be the massive motivation for me to upload new content. And don't forget to ring the notification bell for every new upload. With that said, let's get straight into the video. Ever since the departure of the retirement of the legendary manager of Sir Alex, United had tried different types of coaches. In fact, had tried almost all the kind of managers. David Moyes, with a similar Scottish background with a solid reputation, failed. Tactical manager and capable long-term project builders like Louis van Gaal failed. Experienced winner plus hard disciplinary Jose Mourinho, whom consider having the best achievement, failed horribly. Motivational, friendly and positive manager like Oli also boot out due to a toxic environment. Optimistic managers like Ten Hag and Marvin both see their way out as well. Each one of manager arrived with a plan. Some looks extremely promising on their previous club tenure. Besides, each one makes significant progress, like winning the trophy, achieving top 4, or even get so close to winning the Premier League, finishing second. However, after getting such result, each one of them eventually hit the same wall. With different kinds of issues arise during their tenure, either fans protest banter on the manager due to delivering poor result or the boring play style, to some players' power movements that can club-sided on the player's perspective rather than the manager, or even the manager publicly badmouth at the club. Despite all kinds of possible reasons, we could clearly see the problem isn't just on the manager, but it's the environment around the manager. Usually, if a team's winning in spite of the toxic or negativity in the locker room, we won't think much or even celebrate. But the real test comes when the result drop. It's where pressure explodes, finger pointing, clashes and disputes started. Thus the circumstance where both sides have their stories. And most clubs, a proper rebuild where normally clubs stick to a trusted manager, wholehearted let him cook in terms of the tactics and players needed, whereby would stretch for up to 5 years at least. Yet in manager patience often lasts only 18 months, being where we had spoiled by the constant success did by Sir Alex, and we till today unwilling to accept the drop off. Thus rebuilding without patience is basically impossible. The next one, successful clubs often follow a consistent football philosophy. Previously, like Man City had Pep possession tiki-taka, Liverpool Klopp heavy metal gegenpressing, and Arsenal Arteta with corners. Yes, corners, don't fight with me. But when to Man United, what's their philosophy? Or short, what's their identity? United often change direction, and which each of the new manager, one rebuild focused on possession football, where it was under Ten Hag and Louis van Gaal. The next rebuild focused on counter-attacking under Oli and Mourinho. And then the next focus on pressing, whereby it was led by Marvin. With all of these constant changes in direction means different players profile needed, training staff needed, and even the whole new squad need to fulfill the manager or the philosophy. Although in football there was no winning formula or solution, as the meta tactics is a constant changes at all times. For instance, ball playing goalkeeper was considered a must-have for every top team as their first line of offense or the offense generator, but right now being obsolete due to the importance of things back to basic. Heavy evidence that both Onana and Ederson was let go by their respective Manchester team. So Man United, instead of building step by step, the club keep resetting, causes a massive imbalance to the team. Eventually the squad that inherit to the next manager looks like a Frankenstein monster. In order to have a successful rebrand, only works when the foundation stays the same. The best evidence under Mikel Arteta, while we clown them for lack of success in getting the title, at the same time bottling their Premier League run, the Spanish manager created a foundation for Arsenal and stick to it through thick and thin. Hence, after a couple seasons, the fruitful end result started to become visible where Arsenal became a legitimate title contender. As for United's foundation, had been nothing but constant changes, led to the abysmal situation that to manage for a constant tactic inserting for any period to any players. A part of Man United failed rebuilding and consistency on many ends, job definitely is recruitment. During the earlier part of the tenure, particularly the period after Sir Alex retired, Man United recruitment and transfer team were crap due to the fact Man United often signed expensive plus overpaid players, usually with the big names that provided short-term solution instead of players who fit a long-term plan. For some signing words, no, scratch that. Only a handful of signings actually provided decent contribution to the club. Many of them doesn't downright or just downright pouring the money straight into the drain. For instance, Anthony for £86 million, Alexis Sanchez not so much on the transfer fee but 500 per week wages, and the worst of all, Jadon Sancho for £73 million. And looking back on this transfer were horrible and sure did pull Man United rebuilding steps backwards for many years. As a successful rebuild requires calculated, smart and detailed recruitment, combining with the clear planning and development patience. However, given we are in a quick, fast, little to no time for our players to get used to the new league, let alone having them develop, once the new signing did not perform to the fraction of what they do in the previous club, man, we are ready for the witch hunt, getting meme on them, calling the worst transfer or flop in all social media. While Man United unfortunately did fall into that category with lists full of flops and unrealistic expensive transfer make Man United an easy target during the off-season. Yet in recent turn of event, Man United after the acquisition of Ineos, Man United has seen several levels of improvement as the past transfer window, most of the new signings had already displayed their worth on the pitch. Lastly, possibly the most accepted reason for Man United failed rebuild definitely expectation versus reality. Once a video mentioned the hot take that me thinking Man United was never a well-run club, but with benefit from the brilliance of Sir Alex and David Gill, both who make Man United not just a fortress but a theatre of dreams for fans plus footballers to come. That's why many of us fans believe that United should always compete for the titles immediately, similar how Sir Alex shaped United. But we tend to forget that before becoming the powerhouse under Sir Alex, the legendary manager will once almost get fired by Man United given a string of poor results, but the management during that time chose to stick with him and he delivered the result that no one came close to get with them. But for Man United nowadays and modern football in general is very vastly different because others have stable plus supportive ownership, believe in their team's long-term planning and no shy in tackling all kinds of short-term problems in order to obtain a long-term goal. The best example, Liverpool chose to sell their star playmaker Coutinho for more than 100 million to Barcelona but did not meet with positive reception. Liverpool make a reinvestment using the money bring in multiple key players like Virgil van Dijk and Alisson that still be a staple for their team right now. Comebacks to Man United, we need to know that rebuild will take time and very unfortunate sometimes rebuild might fail, but we still need to give time 4 or even 5 years to see how all the progress turn out. In fact, we can't really have our patience disappear when expectation is unrealistic. Example, having Man United compete for the title since we achieved just a step forward. This is absolutely unrealistic at its best. Of course, Man United ownership did not really help, and fortunately now we see some level of positivity in which why we may need to give time for the next manager or even the rebuild phase to start. That's the end of the video. What do you guys think? What's your take on Man United constant facing the failed rebuild? And do you think Man United could eventually have a turnaround or will have a god knows how long of a slump? Or comment down below so we can have a discussion. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you all